Welcome. We're live. My name is Brad Sims. I'm the president of Capital Technology University, and today we have Joe Billingsley. He is the founder of the Military Cyber Professionals Association, and we're lucky enough here at Capital Tech to also have him as one of our doctoral students. So, Joe, why don't you start off by talking about the history of what the Military Cyber Professional Association, how you founded it, what your thoughts were, and how it kind of got started in from where you really want. I guess really the question to me is, what was the kernel that got you thinking, boy, we should start this association? Because as we go along, we'll get into how much it's grown over the last few years.
Sure. Thank you first, Brad, so much for this opportunity to share about the MCPA, the Military Cyber Professionals Association, and also for your leadership of the university. I will say that my experience as a Cap Tech doctoral student has been exceedingly positive, and just really appreciate the entire Cap Tech team. So as far as the history of the MCPA, it's at this point about a decade old, actually a little bit more than a decade old, and just really a rich history of a lot of activities all over the country. So I started it back over in Monterey, California. Started to develop the concept while I was a student at the Naval Postgraduate School. I was there as the first Army Cyber Scholar, and I was also an Army strategist at the time. That was my specialty area in the Army. So that being said, I knew I wanted to do something research-wise for my thesis there, that was both cyber oriented and also strategic. And just knowing myself, it had to be something that wasn't just going to be check the block, a thesis that just sits on a shelf somewhere, but something really impactful to the fight, because we really have a lot of work to be done, both back then and now. So wanted there to be a practical aspect of it. So a few threads came together, different observations that I had over the years in my service in the Army, mostly serving overseas, and including as an Army person, as a soldier, serving underway on a Navy ship in the Mediterranean. Just experiences across the broader force, including in Iraq and all, where we really needed to come together more for kind of that proto military cyber community for the United States. Come together more and really motivate folks to pursue excellence, for us to just do a better job across the board. I can't tell you how many times I saw, as they say, the left hand not knowing what the right hand is doing. That need for people to know each other, to trust each other, to really provide those foundational links in the social network that really facilitate information flow, coordination, collaboration, and ultimately for operations where folks already know each other, trust each other, and able to execute operations that much quicker. And being that cyber is an ongoing daily fight, if you will, and as they say, moving at the speed of light, it's really important for us to do the best job that we possibly can there, in that very highly contested domain. So in the U.S. Army culture, it's a very normal thing to have what's referred to as regimental style associations. Really holdover from years ago, but still extremely relevant and with very particular functions, like hosting events for a particular community, like publishing different publications for a community, like offering a medal to recognize folks across that community, and do all those types of things. typically in the Army, that's aligned to a particular branch within the Army. Like for example, the Signal Corps Regimental Association and their Order of Mercury Medal, or the Army Strategist Association with their Order of the Archangel Medal. Um, so there was a kind of a template to follow there, but not exactly, because at that time, back in 2012, 2013, while I was at NPS, there wasn't an Army cyber branch yet. So the work that we did in really developing the concept for the MCPA, the Military Cyber Professionals Association, was really intended to help bring about such a branch within the Army, and also more broadly for the Joint Force, really to support and develop and grow that military cyber community, whether you're in the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and of course now the Space Force, and Coast Guard too. Can't forget them. But we developed an organization, a great concept that was also grounded in reality, and taking a very sustainable approach, sustainable growth, taking on programs only that we could actually afford to execute. And so what emerged was this MCPA, with the very first event happening back there in Monterey at the Naval Postgraduate School's Foundation's cottage on the campus there, and it's really taken off since. The mission of the organization is to develop American military cyber professionals and invest in the nation's future through STEM education. STEM, of course, being science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and that's of course, going back to CapTech, really one of the things that really drew us to CapTech as partners, was that very solid STEM focus. So really just a very common sense partnership there. So today we have thousands of members, like I like to say, from the foxhole to the Pentagon to Silicon Valley to the White House, and everywhere in between. Really doing a lot of great work at the tactical level, operational, strategic, and grand strategic. Just a few weeks ago, the Office of the National Cyber Director, as part of the White House, published the new National Cybersecurity Strategy, and I know for a fact that there were a number of MCPA members who were directly and indirectly contributing to that strategy, which is just pretty great. And of course, it's awesome to have an organization that's built to support those people and recognize them and really help to amplify their efforts. I could stop there. I can keep on going if you like.
Sure. No, that's excellent. Let me pull up the website here. So if you're looking, here's the website. I'm just going to put the URL at the bottom of the page. I think one thing that whenever a visitor goes there, that they'll find is that there's a lot of activities, whether it's STEM or the magazine or journal. Maybe you want to highlight some of these activities, because you do a lot for what you can't see in the first page of the website. When you dig into it, there's a lot of activities going on.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of extremely important activities that are really satisfying to be a part of. I mean, just to see the impact of a lot of these programs. So you mentioned like the journal. So yeah, we have two publications. We have a proper peer-reviewed journal called Military Cyber Affairs. That's more for that graduate school type of audience. And then we have a much more flexible magazine called Cyber, and that's for a much broader audience, and also a lot more flexible as far as who can publish what kind of content in there. So definitely anybody who's interested in sharing some concepts that they might have, that's anywhere at the intersection of cyber and national security. Feel free to send it our way. All the instructions on submitting articles are on the website. Thank you for posting that. Public.milcyber.org. I know I mentioned the medal. So we have the Order of Thor medal, which is used across the broader community to recognize excellence. We have a bronze, silver, gold level, and again, all the instructions for nominating folks. You have to be a member to nominate somebody. So that's a very well-established process on the website there. Part of what we do is we also offer free lifetime membership for those who have already sacrificed so much. So that being members of the U.S. military, veterans, honorably discharged veterans, and government civilian employees. Just like any other association, there is membership dues for those who don't fall into those categories. But that's also a way for us to shape who we actually have in our organization. And we also have a vetting process as well. So we just don't let anybody into our perimeter. We've had a podcast called MilCyber Sync. During the pandemic, we spun up the Lockdown Lunch and Learn, the 3L series, which was really very popular. But we sunsetted that as the lockdowns were ending. Doing it every single week to a very high degree of quality was a little labor intensive for us, but we were definitely glad to do that for the community to ensure that folks, our members across the globe, felt that connectivity with each other and still were able to learn in the process. We have legislative efforts underway. Actually, depending on when this episode is published here, Brad, there may be some news out there about the MCPA making some big recommendations for folks on the Hill to consider. One of the kind of fun things we have listed under here on activities is our bourbon, our cyber single barrel bourbon, which is a product of the Tobacco Barn Distilleries down in Southern Maryland. That same type of bourbon from that manufacturer, that producer distiller, can be found sometimes in the NSA gift shop for those who are familiar with it from there. So we have a really great relationship with the folks there. Through one of their founders, retired Rear Admiral Scott Sanders, is on the MCPA Board of Advisors, as is CapTech President Brad Sims. Really, our Board of Advisors is an extremely impressive group of senior leaders from across this broader community, providing all types of support and advice and insight, and it really just exists for all the right reasons to support folks from across this community. We also do a lot of engagement activities with the hacker community. On the website, you'll see a tab called DEF CON. So out at DEF CON, the world's largest hacker conference, we have a great relationship with folks, again, from across that community, including the founder of DEF CON and Black Hat, Jeff Moss, who spoke at some MCPA events, helped us actually open our very first national convention last year. So a lot of great things happening with those engagements as well, including hosting a couple events at DEF CON, such as the National Service Panel that MCPA has been organizing for a few years as a way to get voices from across the federal government and different organizations to really share their experiences with members of the hacker community. Just number one, to help understand kind of what we do, in the national service community and in the public sector. And then also help facilitate if anybody wants to join the team and come and work for the federal government in some way, shape, or form. Really providing insight about how to do that, what that's like, and all. I mean, the federal government, just like everywhere else, is in real need of folks with serious technical capabilities. So any way that we can help facilitate that as an organization is definitely something that we want to do. Also out at DEF CON, we host the arcade party, which is a very big deal there, kind of a fan favorite throughout the broader DEF CON community. And that's a program of the MCPA.
Obviously we from Capital Tech, we join you out there at DEF CON. They were there as well. It's an exciting event, so highly recommend anybody who's not attended to attend.
For sure.
And I think, of course, your biggest event is coming up, your second annual HammerCon.
Yes. We are extremely excited about HammerCon. So HammerCon is what we call our national convention of the MCPA, and it is being graciously hosted for the second year in a row by Cap Tech. Thank you very much, Brad, for welcoming us. It's really such a great location for that. So close to Fort Meade, where of course there's a large concentration of military cyber professionals there, working at NSA and Cyber Command. We have, as part of HammerCon, a lot of different activities going on as part of that, including 3 different tracks. We have a main track, we have a more academic research-oriented track, and then we have a private sector business-oriented track. We have different exhibitors from really everywhere from government organizations to paying sponsors, because all this costs money, and we definitely need the support on that. And that being said, we don't just accept funds from anybody. We are quite selective about who we partner with, and really invite into our environment. So folks should know that as well. We also have a few different villages, which that's a very common thing you see at different hacker conferences like DEF CON. For example, we have the lockpicking village, which is very hands-on and really a lot of fun. We also have the IoT village as well, which is, again, a lot of fun for a lot of folks. Very, very hands-on event. And of course, again, over at CapTech on the 18th of May, folks can sign up at hammercon.org. It's free for U.S. military people, MCPA members. There's a relatively small fee for government employees who want to attend, who aren't military and who aren't MCPA members. And then others can purchase tickets as well if they're interested. But our focus is, of course, as you can tell by the name of our organization, the military cyber professional. And it's being catered for lunch again by Mission Barbecue, which is a favorite of mine, and I'm the founder of the organization, so that's how that happens.
Excellent. Well, it's and you anticipate, I think last we discussed about 600 participants this year.
Yeah, we've actually already had a few hundred folks RSVP. So I feel pretty good about the trajectory that we're on. And yes, there is limited space ultimately, so folks are encouraged to sign up and register sooner than later.
So you talked a little bit about the founding of Military Cyber Professional Association and all that the organization's doing, but you do have a full-time job on top of this. So if you want to
Yes.
let everybody know what you do for your full-time job.
Yes, yes. So my full-time job, I serve as a Department of Defense civilian employee over at the National Defense University's College of Information and Cyberspace (CIC) on historic Fort McNair in the heart of our nation's capital in Washington D.C. Really a very very special place to work with an amazing mission and an amazing team. Um, and I really have a lot of fun working there. Um, there, I serve as Director of Strategic Engagement. So, a lot of things that I've done over the years as part of the MCPA are directly applicable um, to what I do as far as outreach and working with different stakeholders and organizations and senior leaders to ultimately support the educational mission of the College of Information and Cyberspace. Um, free free for DoD personnel to enroll in, and of course all the information about that is on their website, cic.ndu.edu. And I know that CIC has, for many years, predating me working there, has been a partner of CapTech. And I know that there is a lot of mutual respect and research collaboration and the like. And I believe also the CapTech Vice President for Academics, Dr. Bill Butler, is actually an alumni of CIC and has been able to leverage some of that insight for the broader CapTech community, which I just think is amazing.
Yeah, well, Capital Technology University, even though it was founded in 1927 by a Navy vet, actually, to teach people how to build radios, has evolved into more engineering and technology. And then before the 9/11 event, they really were ramping up information assurance and became the first university to offer an online master's in information assurance before 9/11. And as you can imagine, after that event occurred, there was a huge enrollment increase, especially for the Marines, into that master's degree, which is now, of course, cybersecurity. But in the old days, information assurance was the name of those degree programs. And Dr. Butler, who's our vice president of academics, is from retired colonel from the Marine Corps in the cybersecurity area. So that is one of our strengths here at all levels: bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. And we work, alongside the partners you work with, right? We do a lot with NSA. We have special classes for them. We do a lot with NASA because we're really set between those two locations. And then we have all sorts of agreements. One of our most recent was with DISA, where they hold specific internships for our undergraduates. And we even teach our undergraduates how to fill in their security clearance forms as part of their education because we're just in that marketplace
Sure.
between DC and Baltimore.
Sure.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say how impressive it is the array of programs that you have at CapTech, including your doctoral programs. I mean, just all kinds of really amazing and very specific things that are in high demand in certain communities. Like from myself, pursuing this PhD in cyber leadership. I know there are programs dedicated, like you mentioned, NASA, at the intersection of space and cyber, which is, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done there. So just, I mean, kudos on everything that you've built out there at CapTech.
Yeah, that's our specialty are the technical areas. We don't really offer degree programs outside of STEM or management of STEM, and that's been the focus of the university since 1927. So in the doctoral programs, as you know, the doctoral programs and master's programs, in those cases, they're both completely online and they're designed for working individuals to work through those programs while maintaining full-time employment. And while we certainly hope that our students can use projects at work to get through their research projects, whether they're doing a master's degree with research or they're doing a PhD. So kind of tell us about your thought and in your project that you're working on through your dissertation in the PhD in cyber leadership.
Sure. Actually, I'm working with Dr. Ian McAndrew, who's been just wonderful. He's the dean of doctoral programs, actually. There, of course, you know that. And under his guidance, so I have a qualitative approach to actually investigating and illuminating a lot of insights stemming from my experience of founding the MCPA and running it over the past decade or so. So I'm at the tail end of all the dissertation writing and rewriting right now, and there's been really a tremendous amount of insight that I've been able to pull out from that process of analysis, which is really amazing and so appreciated.
Well, really, our doctoral program, as well as all of our programs, the biggest recruiting tool is the graduates. They recommend our programs. you know, I went to PhD program back in the old days in the '90s, so I had to quit my job and go full time to university, and uh, I did it as quick as I could, but it still was living on the university and going to school, and I think that where Dr. McAndrew and myself, whenever we really built out the doctoral programs here into a mentored model where you're working one-on-one with your chair while you're working full-time. The feedback we get from many of the graduates is that it's been a great a tool, a great kind of design program that a lot of people were looking for, but they didn't want to go back to school full-time. So I mean, and how would you say your experience with the overall kind of administration of the doctoral program is today?
Yeah, it's actually been a really great fit for me. The team has been very accessible and actually, so you brought up the aspect of folks not being able to just stop their day job to pursue a doctoral program. So one way that I've been enabled to pursue this has been with the GI Bill, which of course I earned during my service in the Army, and and the team at CapTech has really been they're a well-oiled machine with working with folks with veterans to take advantage of those benefits that we've earned and really putting it to use in this way. Actually, with the stipend that the GI Bill offers, I mean, it really works out pretty well, actually financially as well. So instead of going into debt, which happens all too often, it's worked out. Sustainable approach for our family. So I'm very appreciative of that.
No, we completely understand. We work hard at Capital Tech because we know it's an investment. And, I went to school to get a career. That's what we offer here. And so for our undergraduate students on campus, we do guarantee them a minimum starting salary of $50,000 a year, where they will get their and their parents' quarterly loans repaid. And we do guarantee that if you don't have a job in 90 days in your career field, you can come back for a certificate in another area for free.
Hmm.
And the reason why we can do that is because, industry wants all of our graduates.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in the technical sector, whether it's engineering technology or management technology. So um, it, it's an easy thing to have employers come and hire interns and graduates and all that, and transitioning military as well. We are military friendly, so we get a lot of those at all degree levels. But the programs are what industry needs, and that's what we're here for, is to support industry as a career focused university. We need the big research universities too, but we just happen to be a small career focused, supporting industry university, and we're happy with that place because our students do quite well.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a LinkedIn search for the graduates, and you'll be impressed by what they're doing out there in the marketplace.
Oh yeah.
But another benefit of the Military Cyber Professional Association membership is that you do qualify for a discount for any of our degree programs here at Capital Tech. I'm going to bring up that your website at the bottom again. So I encourage everybody to go check out Military Cyber Professionals Association's website. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen, public.milcyber.org, and look at the options for joining. And as Joe said, all the military can join for free. Am I right? Am I correct on that?
U.S. military, yes.
U.S. military. Okay. We do have some agreements with military outside the U.S. where they can get a military discount. But for military cybers, you got to be a U.S. military. So that's kind of the time that we're coming to the end of. I'm gonna check here just to see if there is any questions. No questions. So, Joe, any last thoughts before we end the live?
Again, I just want to express how appreciative I am for your support and leadership as president of Capital Technology University, and really the support that you're providing the members of the military cyber community through the partnership with the Military Cyber Professionals Association, since they have such a job to do, and really anything and everything that we can do to support them, we really should be doing. So thank you for doing your part on that, Brad.
No, thank you, and thank you for working with us, and we're excited again to have HammerCon's second annual convention, and I assume that next May will be the third annual convention. So we recommend you come out and join us. If you're not local, BWI Airport's the closest one to fly into, 20 minutes away down the parkway for us. And go check out their website for information on HammerCon, and check out Capital Tech's website. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have about Capital Tech. And thanks again, Joe, for joining me today.
Of course.